make sure I actually share this properly. Sorry, I've got to do this the right way so that we actually get the proper optimization for the audio. And here we go. It's your time to build your empire. Rise up. Nobody's going to do it for you. Your empire won't build itself. Now let's remind you why you're doing this, why you're an entrepreneur, why you know that this is the only path that will give you the chance to win, to have freedom, to do something great with your life, to leave your mark, to change lives, to serve others, to make your work your ministry, to empower yourself, to empower others, to be the hero for your family, to get the respect and admiration of your friends, to have more money than you can spend, to be able to support charities and causes that your heart desires, to have your name at the entrance of buildings, to know a quality of life with no stress, to have security and control, to be free of worldly pressure so that you can love freely, to build your own empire, to become the leader you were put here to be, to let the world see the greatness God put inside of you. To operate at less than peak performance today would be a slap in the face of your Creator who expects your best. It is your duty to show up for your life today and play your heart out. Play for your team. Play to win. This is bigger than just you. Your team is counting on you, your company, your family, your future. You're an example that your team is watching. They all want to see you win. They need to see you win. Your victory will emancipate them from the chains of doubt, the chains of mediocrity, of complacency, of indecision, of paralysis. Most people around you think the only way, the safest way, the traditional way, the best way to go through life is to fall in line, to submit, to take orders, to do the work for those risk takers, those entrepreneurs, those visionaries they call bosses. Most people around you think the only way, the safest way, the traditional way, the best way to go through life is to fall in line, to submit, to take orders, to do the work for those risk takers, those entrepreneurs, those visionaries they call bosses, the owners of the companies that have them shackled and trapped into their own matrix. The people around you will not support your decision to go against the grain, to rise up and reach for freedom. They will ridicule you, oppose you. Some will pretend to want success for you, but secretly, they will want you to fail, because if you succeed, your success will make them feel like they are failing. You may not want your success to make them feel this way, but you must succeed anyway. Just because others are small thinkers doesn't mean you should think small. If they don't have what you want, why would you care what they think? Be a visionary. You are a champion, a warrior for freedom, a hero to your family, a lighthouse in a stormy sea, a leader of people, a caring coach, an example of strong work ethic, a fearless leader, a focused builder, and a top earner in your business. The greatest gift one can give to their kids is being an example of great work ethic. Your loved ones are watching you every day. What you do with your time today matters. Every minute you spend surfing on social media, watching TV, or sitting idle is not only a minute you can never get back, but it's also another example you are showing to those watching and counting on you. Every minute matters. Every action adds up. Each phone call you make today may not seem to matter, but each one matters huge. Every phone call is like a golf ball Tiger Woods hits in practice, or a practice shot taken by Michael Jordan. You can be the Michael Jordan or the Tiger Woods of your business if you just keep taking enough shots every day. Take a shot, another shot, another shot, another shot, another shot. Some go in, some don't. You just follow with another shot, another shot. Detach emotionally from the outcome of every single shot. Again, detach emotionally from the outcome of any single shot. You know there's plenty more shots to come. Another shot, another shot. Call a prospect, make a call, another call, another call, another call. We don't convince people, we don't need to. We have what they need, not the other way around. We are simply looking for open-minded people who are ready for something better for their lives. They need us to come knocking. But when opportunity knocks, many don't have an unlocked door, and that's okay. Plenty, millions of doors are left to knock on. Like Paul Revere, just stay in your saddle and keep riding. Keep letting the world know, one knock at a time, that a better future is coming. Today, we will fight off the temptation of being lazy, of procrastinating, of putting off until later what we must make happen right now. Losers procrastinate. Winners just do it. You don't realize what you do to your human spirit and psyche by putting off until later what you know that you need to do right now. It can kill you. It kills your chances of accomplishing your dreams. Know this. Own this. Resolve right now to no longer do this. Success is a decision followed by daily choices. Decide right now there is no tomorrow. There is only today. Say, I will make calls right now. I will experience how it feels to decide, to follow through, and to honor my commitment to succeed. Break the ice. Set yourself up for the ultimate day today. Feel the bliss of being productive. Begin it now. Start by selecting just 3 calls that you will make right now, before work, before lunch, before the gym, before whatever's next in your day. Pick up the phone. Get excited. Feel the passion for what you do in your chest. Know that you're about to bless the person that you're calling. Smile, dial, connect, and then repeat it immediately. This will become habit after doing this for 90 days. Listen to this track for 90 days. Stick a dagger into procrastination for 90 days. Destroy it. Crush its hold over you. Send it scampering away in fear of this new warrior in you, never to come back. I proclaim right now, I will until. I will do what it takes for as long as it takes to win. My why is so strong that there is no going back. There is no other option. I have burned my ships. I can't wait for the world to see who I'm becoming every day through my seemingly mundane actions. A brick. Each brick alone seems meaningless. But just wait, world. You will see the empire I'm building. Today is my day, and I'm going to crush it today. 10x, baby. All right, guys. So, your thoughts. Your thoughts on what you all just heard. Does that motivate you when you start to think about what was being shared on there? The idea is that you've got to reprogram the way that you think. You know, I know that there's athletes that go on YouTube and they find people that are lifting weights, that are running track, that are catching footballs, they're dunking basketballs. There's a lot of motivation, but very little for entrepreneurs. Where is there an entrepreneurial motivational video about making phone calls to prospects? So I felt like I needed to have something in my ear. I felt my team needed to have something that they can listen to in their ear to get that motivation every single day. I hope that that's going to be helpful for you. Go to my YouTube channel and take the 90-day challenge to take that in. So today, I'm going to be sharing from my notebook that I took up on stage 2 Saturdays ago in Orlando at Faith Over Fear as a part of my talk. And my hope is that I'm going to start off with my story to give you perspective for your journey. Because I understand now, at the ripe old age of 52, that I think differently and I see things differently than what I saw when I was 28 years old, just getting started in my business. Or heck, when I first got into network marketing at the age of 24. Different perspective. I feel like I know a lot more now than I did before. So here's my story. And I want to start by asking, have you ever felt less than? Have you ever felt less than? Like maybe were you ever picked on when you were a kid? Or maybe as an adult, people look down on you because of the car you drive, or the success that you didn't have, or the promotions at your job you got looked over. Have you ever felt less than? Maybe somebody that you were in love with didn't love you back. So my story, I was one of the smaller kids in my class. And being that, certain sports I really couldn't be good in. But I'll never forget in high school when my brother and his best friend stuck me into a locker in the football locker room, shoved me in the locker and locked it, and put a sign on it and said, "Don't feed the animals." Now, That might seem kind of funny to somebody hearing that, but if you understood the scar that it put on my heart, on my soul, on my self-confidence, that was not easy. I kicked it open a little while later and busted my knee open and had to get stitches trying to get myself out because they wouldn't let me out. Later that same year, one of the football players stuck me head first upside down in a trash can in front of other people. Why do I say that? Well, our circumstances and things that we experience as we're in our formative years, it plays a big role in who we are, who we see ourselves as, and sometimes it winds up being motivation. So for me, I felt like I wanted respect. I wanted dignity. And what do men typically seek in life? Men seek respect and status. Women seem to focus on love, respect, of course, as well. But for me, I felt like I really wanted to have enormous financial success in my life. Because that was going to be the way I could excel. I was not going to be a great athlete. I was not gifted in singing or as a musician or anything like that. So that also, I'll tell you, I wasn't Brad Pitt growing up either. So on the dating scene, I didn't have it easy. I had to work 3 times harder than any other guy to get a girl to go on a date with me. I remember many times walking into a bar with friends, and I would walk up to a girl and, hey, can I buy you a drink? And she'd say, no, I'm waiting for somebody. And I look over 20 minutes later, and she was not waiting for anybody. She's just talking to anybody else that walked up because they were just better looking than me. So these things all played into what were driving forces for me. So I'll give you an example. This right here is a Rolex two-tone Daytona, stainless and gold. This was something, you see a man wearing a Rolex. They don't wear a Rolex because it tells great time, because it really doesn't. They do it for status. They want to show the world, look at me, I've made something of myself. And I needed that. So when I hit my first goal in my business at age 28, in 6 months, I became what we call platinum. And I went to a jewelry store and I plunked down $7,000 to buy myself this watch as a reward for working hard and to go out there and show the world, hey, look, Ma, I made it. Hey, look, world, I made it. When I can walk up to somebody and say, can I buy you a drink? And they see the watch. Okay, it was a driving force for me. It might sound shallow, but it was what I felt like I needed at the time. Some of you guys probably have heard the story of when I first made my first $1 million in Legal Shield in 2.5 years at the age of 30. I began building my dream home with a 6,000 square foot house with a movie theater and a hot tub and a gym and I put the Ferrari in it. Well, I didn't put the Ferrari in yet. That's the next part of the story. So I built my dream house, and Thanksgiving was coming up next week. And I wanted to shove my success in my bro's face. Yeah, I love my brother, by the way. Best man at my wedding. I mean, we have a great relationship. But he gave me a hard time about network marketing. Why are you going to waste your time doing one of those pyramid schemes kind of a thing? Anybody ever heard that before? So he always had a picture on his refrigerator of his dream car, a red 355 Ferrari Spider with tan interior. So a week before Thanksgiving, I called up Ferrari of Washington, and I said, hey, I'm looking for this car. Can you find me one? They said, we happen to have one. So that day I drove to Ferrari, Washington, about an hour away. I bought the car, I stroked the check. I got the car back to my house, and 3 days later, I pulled up in my parents' driveway with that car. I walk inside. A lot of the family members were all in there already, including my immediate family, my brother. And my cousin walks in the house about 20 minutes later and says, hey, everybody, whose Ferrari's parked out front? And my brother goes, huh? What? And he goes running to the front door, it opens up, he says, that's my dream car. I said, hell yeah, it is. I just had to, and he's like, hey, let me take it for a test drive. I said, hell no, you're not driving my car. So sometimes we have things that motivate us like that might seem shallow. It might seem like it's a driving force of, proving somebody else wrong. But I say that to say that initially in my career, I was motivated by success and money, in that it would give me respect and status, which is what I was desiring. And I've evolved along the way. So that was 25 years ago next week. 25 years ago that I began this process, this journey with my current company. And since then, I've made tens of millions of dollars. I've invested it well, so my net worth is really high. I've been able to provide a great life for my family. I've been able to give to charitable causes, but I've evolved where things that used to be important are not the same anymore. There's new things that are important to me. And again, I'm sharing this journey with you because I don't know where you are in your journey. You might be a young guy right now. I see some young folks on here that might want to go get that Rolex or the Ferrari. Totally cool. No judgment. I don't judge my old self. I still have the watch. I keep it in my safe. I still have the Ferrari 22 years later, still in my garage. I can't get myself to get rid of it. But I have evolved. And what happened for me is that I decided I wanted to go from a success to significance. Success is personal. Significance is how many other people have you helped to have success for themselves. That's when you lived a significant life. And in network marketing, to do anything great, to build a massive team, to develop other leaders, to help other people. If you want to make $1 million a year in network marketing, you're not going to do it by being selfish. You can still have selfish goals. Nothing wrong with that. Go get the car, get the home, get the watch, get the big bank account, but you have to be wanting to help other people. Otherwise, people will figure you out that you're only selfish and they're not going to stick around with you very long. So my journey has progressed meaningfully forward. And about a year ago, I read a book called Die with Zero. I would encourage you to write that one down, Die with Zero. And the premise of the book is don't die only to have everything that you amassed in your life get inherited by your heirs, and you never get a chance to see them enjoy what you gave them. What good is that? Do I want to die with $50 million and then never see the good in the world that it did? So the two parts of the book is die with zero. Start spending your money. Once you have set yourself up for financial freedom. Like, don't go do too much of this when you don't even have your own oxygen mask on first. Like, put yours on, and then you can help other people next to you on the plane, right? So spend your money in a way where you can see the good in the world that it's going to do as early in your life as you can. So you can savor that goodness and watch it for a long time. The other part of the book is have experiences in your life as early as you can. Don't wait until you're 85 to go do some of your bucket list things, only to not be able to do them well. Like if you want to go hiking in Italy at Cinque Terre, and you want to go hike to the 5 different little towns along the water, along the coastline. Believe me, I did that about 7 years ago, and even at my age in my 40s, it about killed me. I couldn't do that if I was in my 80s. But the memory I have from my 40s, for the next 50 years of my life, I will remember that trip and remember that hike. So go create memories early in your life so that you have a long stretch, a long runway of memory time to savor them. So create memories as early in life as you can and put your money to good works as early in your life as you can. That's the Die with Zero book. I didn't give it all away. You'll get so much out of the book just by reading it, even though I just kind of gave you a cursory overview. But that being said, about a year ago, we put our kids into a school connected to a church right here in Leesburg, Virginia. And my wife started going to the church. And she asked me to go. Now, for me to give up my Sunday morning fishing or golfing, I wasn't really down for that. But after a while, she convinced me to go one day. And I did. And I liked the atmosphere. And I liked how it felt. Other churches I've been to, I never felt like the way I felt in this church. And I decided to go again. And then I went again. And last fall, Melissa decided to get water baptized at church. And that was going to happen in November. After I learned of her desire to do this months before, and after I read Die with Zero, I went to our lead pastor and I said, look, here's what I would love to do. It's on my heart right now to help with the fundraise that the church has to expand the school and for all these mission trips that the church wants to do, and they needed to raise the money. I said, I've been very blessed as an entrepreneur. I would like for you to pick a Sunday, sometime before Christmas, and I want you to tell the congregation that somebody has stepped up and they're going to do a dollar match up to $500,000. If your heart says you want to give $1,000, but you can only afford to give $500, well, guess what? That day, you give $500, you're actually giving $1,000 because you're pulling an extra $500 out of this guy. So on December 10th of 2022, this happened, and I'm so elated to share the result with you. The church raised $947,000 that day, not even including my $500. The biggest raise the church has ever had in its 40-year history. One of the things that happened before that day, after I told him what I wanted to do, and before that day of the giving, I met with a pastor from Church of the Highlands in Alabama, who is a multi-millionaire entrepreneur who 8 years ago was called to be a pastor. And he shared his story with me the night before he was going to be on stage at the end of November with Pastor Charlie, talking about eternal return on investment, EROI. As a money-motivated guy, I'm a money guy. ROI is always on my mind. What is going to be my return on investment? Right? You guys are all about making money, keeping your money, growing your money, getting wealthy, right? It's a good thing to be focused on it. Well, he talked about EROI, eternal return on investment. And we had an amazing conversation over dinner. Here's what I learned. And by the way, I'm giving you perspective from my journey for your journey. What I have found myself doing, focusing on building business and making money and growing my wealth, is I felt like that's what I was focused on, and I was not really focused on God, Jesus, a personal relationship. I didn't have much focus on my faith. And I felt like I had to choose one or the other. And what this Pastor Lee Domain shared with me that night was that our church's pastor has a gifting as a pastor, and he can only be a pastor to the people that are in the church, people who have already found God. And that's his gifting to do that. But those are the only people he can reach. And he said, Brian, your gifting as an entrepreneur in the marketplace is no less than your pastor's gifting to be a pastor in the church. Because God needs you out there connecting with people that have not found God, that are not in the church yet. To expand his kingdom, Brian, God needs you. And he also said the church needs money. And Brian, you're good at making money. So your gifting is no less than your pastor's gifting. And let me tell you guys, from that day, I have never before then felt the alignment in my life where I truly feel like my ability to go be an entrepreneur and make money and to walk with Jesus and be a humble servant and to be able to expand his kingdom is congruent. It's aligned. I've never felt this before. Now, it doesn't matter tonight whether or not this resonates with you, because maybe you're a Muslim or Buddhist or Jewish, or you're just an atheist, you're not Christian, and this is not singing your song to you. Take away from it the alignment, where the good you can do in this world with your entrepreneurship, your skills, your gifting, your focus that you're focusing on with your business that you're here to learn about tonight. Think about what you can go do good in the world with it. So that's kind of where I am. I'm finally aligned, and I want this for you. And my prophesying in my Christian walk is not going to be, I'm not going to hit anybody over the head with the Bible. I'm not going to preach and quote scripture to you or anybody. I'm just going to live as a good example. And if people are curious as to my new joyful spirit, they might inquire, and I can share with them the story I share with you. And through that, maybe they might explore. But I also want to talk to you all about congruence and having less friction, because I know you all have friction. Friction meaning you say you want these big things, you want these big results, but for whatever your reasons, you're not doing what you know that you need to do in your business. And that friction causes guilt. When your why and your actions are not congruent, you're going to feel bad because you know you should be doing X, Y, or Z in order to accomplish what you know you need in your life, and you're not doing it. So whether it's your why and your business actions, or it's your faith and your business, there's friction that's happening there. So I'm spending the first 20 minutes with you tonight, helping you to understand the need for congruence and alignment, so you can stop fighting how you feel. Because when you feel incongruent, you feel guilty, you feel out of sorts, you're not going to do the activity in your business. And if you try to do the activity while you're feeling that way, in a people attraction business, you're not going to attract customers or recruits to your business. So please write down congruence and alignment in your notes. And tonight, contemplate how you can work towards getting that alignment. I also shared in Orlando the importance of balance. My mentor, Paul J. Meyer, who was a mentor of mine until he passed away over a dozen years ago now, he was a billionaire of his own making. He owned 43 companies when he passed away. I was in his downline. The only company he was actually involved in putting time and energy into a business that was not a company he started was a company that I'm currently in right now. He was my upline mentor. He actually bought the position for millions of dollars. So he bought an upline spot, right? And but I had his mentorship because of that. That's the beauty of network marketing. You can get mentorship by people in your upline, and you don't have to pay them for their time and energy. The company pays them. And when I hit platinum in 6 months, you know what he did? I went and bought myself a Rolex. You know what he did? He bought me a Lincoln Navigator. Pretty cool upline. If you're in my downline, I'm not there yet. I'm not a billionaire, so don't be asking for an SUV. But I asked Paul Meyer because he taught. He's authored and sold over $2 billion of his own books and training programs, by the way. And I asked Paul because he taught about the balance, the wheel of life. There's a wheel, and from the hub, there are spokes. And one spoke is faith, one is finance, one is health and fitness, one is spiritual. And if any of those spokes was not the same length, like you were neglecting one of those areas of your life, and the spoke was not as long as the others, the wheel would not roll smoothly in your life. You'd have a rocky road of a life. And so he taught about the balanced wheel, the wheel of life. And that all made sense to me. But I asked Paul, when I was at his home in Waco, Texas, he and I just are by ourselves in his office. And I said, I'm struggling with something because I'm not really focused on health and wellness and fitness. I'm not focused on spiritual. I'm mostly focused on the finances. I feel like if I get my financial stuff going, then I can afford to take time on my spiritual side and on my fitness side. And he said, Brian, it's okay for a season to be really out of balance. Like to get super focused on doing what you got to do. Like if you are super unhealthy, like you are really sick, maybe on your deathbed, you probably would neglect your money-making activity and focus more on getting healthy and getting spiritual, right? But if you are broke and you are basically 30 days away from being homeless and on the street, maybe you would stop going to the gym and focusing on your fitness, and you'd start focusing a lot more on making money to turn your life situation around. So he said, for a season, focusing heavily on one component of that wheel sometimes is necessary. Try not to neglect other areas too much, where it's irreparable, but it's okay to be out of balance for a season. And that's what I did. So I'm just telling you my journey, what I did. I was super focused, like wake to faint for years early on. I was cranking my business. I was a recruiting machine. I recruited 10 people a month for 10 straight years. What did that lead to? It led to a lot of, a team that I could control some growth. And through my recruiting, it inspired others to recruit. And through everybody's recruiting, I was able to be a talent scout and find some really great people that wanted to rise up and be a leader in the organization. And that is now a very, very stable, solid, amazing organization with amazing leaders in it. It's generated over $26 million in personal earnings, over $570 million in collective team earnings. It's a legacy. It's a legacy business. And I paid the price. I made the sacrifices. Some people are not willing to sacrifice. They're not willing to go hard for a season, to build the momentum first, and then get back to a real, smooth, balanced wheel of life. So it's up to you. Legacy is beyond season. If you're here for legacy, if you're building this for your last name, write that down. Build it for your last name. If you're building this for your last name, if your legacy is a part of you, it can't just up and leave you. You just can't get lazy about this. If you're building this for your legacy, it's no longer a business of convenience. It's not like I'll make some calls if I feel like doing it one day. Something else that really struck me, I shared this stat in Orlando. 80 to 90% of students lose connection to God after high school. 80 to 90% of students lose connection to God after high school. But 90% of those with a mentor keep their connection. 90% of kids who keep a faith mentor in their life keep their connection to God. Where do they find them? Well, they probably went to a church as a youngster, as a teenager, and they stayed in touch with that mentor. They had a relationship with them, and 90% of those people kept a connection. What does that relate to your network marketing business? Same exact thing. Having a mentor is everything. Some of you have heard me lately talk about this. I came up with this acronym in February of 2023 when I was speaking in Chicago. I was up in my hotel room thinking about what I was going to share on that stage that night. And I came up with GAME. I'm in Chicago, the home of Michael Jordan. You got game? Michael Jordan had game. But GAME stands for Great Associations, Mentors, and Environment. Great Associations, Mentors, and Environment. Do you have GAME? I would venture to say you're more easily able to find GAME in a network marketing business model than anywhere else in this world. You're going to find associations that you can surround yourself with because you become who you spend the most time with. The 5 people you spend the most time with, you're going to be the average of who they are. You're going to make about what they make. You're going to basically talk the way they talk. If they're broke, you're going to be broke. If they're rich, you're going to be rich. If they drink, you're going to drink. If they smoke, you're going to smoke. If they go to church, you're going to go to church. I mean, you become who you associate with. So who are your associations? Are they entrepreneurs? Are they success-oriented? Are they going places? Well, get around associations like that. It will help you. Great associations, mentors. And mentors, I had mentors that were willing to, not only were they highly successful, had the life I wanted, had the success I wanted, but that because of network marketing, the company paid them to help me to do what they did. Now, I had to show up to be a mentee. Some of you are like, well, my mentor doesn't pay any attention to me. You got to deserve it, my friend. You got to deserve it. Just because I joined somebody's downline, just because I joined Paul J. Meyer's downline, did not mean I was going to have his personal phone number and have him talk to me and coach me all the time. We have to earn it. Like your upline mentors have thousands of people that are on their team. Who do they spend their time with? They look for the smoke and they come pour fuel on the fire when they find it. Create some smoke. Get some stuff going on. Start selling, start recruiting, start deserving their attention. Get them to say, when they look at their report one morning, oh my, who is this? Who is Alan? Who is Alex? Who is Angela? Who is Jerry? Get them to see your name on a report and be like, I've got to find out who this person is. Because you know what smart mentors do? They don't try to turn a 4 into an ace. They don't try to turn a 7 into an ace. They're just flipping cards through the deck looking for the aces. They're looking for the people that are already aces. Show your mentors that you're an ace so that they will spend their time with you. So mentors, super important. And then game, great associations, mentors, and environment. The environment, what environment are you in? Is it causing you to grow? Is it causing you to stretch your imagination? Is it causing you to conceive of a bigger vision for your life? Is it causing you to believe that you can do it? Are you really entrenched in personal development? Your environment, you guys, is so important. People want to be recognized. People want to be celebrated. Is your environment, is it celebrating you? Do you feel like you matter? Now, if you're hiding in the shadows and your mentors don't even know you're even around, then that's not their fault. But believe me, anybody on my team, I don't care if they're making 20 grand a month or $20 a month, if they're a part of my team and my family, whether we're talking on a daily or a weekly basis or not, every person on my team matters tremendously to me. Of course, I work where I'm needed. I'm doing 3-way calls for people that are using me for 3 ways, or coaching people who are asking for some coaching help. So game is everything. And I bring that up because you've got to have game in your business and you've got to have game in your faith. I have now surrounded myself with amazing people I met from church. I went on a trip to Wyoming in June with 20 Christian men for a 3-day retreat with no phone, no access to the outside world, smoking cigars, hiking, trout fishing, fly fishing, horseback riding. But just 3.5-hour dinners, getting very, very vulnerable and transparent about our lives. Tears that were shed. That's game, right? So, by the way, game is what we offer. So write the word game down and circle it and put a bunch of stars around it, because look, some of you have been trying to recruit people into your business and you're focused on your product or your comp plan. Here's our great product and here's how much money you can make selling it. That's what you're focused on. But you know what? You know what people need in this world? Because the world is really, really in a weird way right now. There are a lot of lonely people out there that you don't even know they're lonely. There's a lot of people out there that feel they're stuck with no hope to ever get further ahead in their life. We sell hope, we sell opportunity. You know what we sell? We sell game. Get good at telling people about game before you tell them about your business opportunity. How refreshing will it be? This is a big recruiting tip I'm giving you all right now. Tell people in your life, friends, family, prospects, anybody that you want to recruit, go tell them about this acronym that you learned and how important that you now learned it is to have great associations, mentors, and environment in your life to have the upper hand or the fast track to become successful and happy in your life. I bet you they're going to say, my gosh, I've never heard about that like that, but you're right, that would be amazing. And then you can tell them that you've got game and ask them if they want to see how you got it and where they can get it to. So, I'm spending a lot of time with you all tonight on foundational stuff. You might have come to tonight's meeting expecting me to give you some news scripts. Tell me word for word, step by step, what to say, what to do. How do I find prospects? What do I say to them? How do I present? How do I close? We will get to that. But if I spent the first part of tonight talking about the how-tos, the actions for your business, you would absolutely not do them, because philosophically, your underpinning was not strong. You would not have the gumption and the motivation and the inspiration to go do those things. So we will get to that. Trust me, I know what you need because I know what I needed. So in church on Sunday, and this is not Pastor Brian, I'm not a pastor, I'm not trying to convert anybody, but I want you to learn as I'm learning. This, I promise you, this is going to help you, because I'm going to analogize what I learned about myself, about why I was not a practicing Christian, why I had no real relationship with God, even though I went to Catholic school all my life, which might have been the reason why. And what that translates to in my business. So here are notes that I wrote down just a couple days ago. Yesterday in church. Here are the reasons why I avoided church. Here's why I avoided church. I didn't want to give up who I wanted to be, like a cool guy. I didn't look at church-going people because they seemed kind of just polite, nice. They weren't like the cool guys, right? I didn't want to give up being able to sin and not feel guilt. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we do in our lives that is actually sin. And frankly, I never thought of it as like that bad, like cursing or like simple things. And I didn't want to feel the guilt. I'm just being honest with you. I'm so focused on being a leader, so I didn't want to start over and just be a follower. I felt like if I went to church, I would just be a follower, just one of the many people sitting in church, listening to a church leader. Like, I've worked for 25 years to be a business leader, and now I'm just going to go be a lowly follower. My ego was keeping me from church, as some of you know, edging God out. I was so focused on who I am. Remember I talked about status? Ferrari, Bentley, $2 million house, Rolex. That was what I focused on for so many years. I was so focused on who I am, not whose I am. Now I know none of that stuff really matters, which is why I don't even wear the watch anymore. I haven't worn it in a long time. I saw church as not fun, and we all gravitate towards being entertained, rather than go hear how much we're doing wrong and how boring our life is supposed to be. A Christian doesn't have to have a boring life, but this is what I was thinking. I'm just pouring out my thoughts to you, being honest, open. I don't know if you've ever had anybody be raw and real like this. I don't know. I didn't want to humble myself to be around people who know much more about faith than I do. I'm just learning how to pray. I've never read the Bible. When I'm listening in church, I realize how little I know. That's humbling, so I avoided it for a long time. God's word gives us direction, but I felt like I could find my own way. My previous church experience left me feeling I gained nothing from it. I see others who go to church suffering or not prospering, so why would I want those associations? Obviously, I didn't believe and trust in Him, God, that He wants me to enjoy life and do great things, and that I'd go farther with Him than without Him. I avoided men's groups that I was invited into to avoid accountability. And lastly, I avoided church because my life is so busy, I just don't have time for it. I don't know if I touched on anything that you all have ever thought or felt. Those are the reasons why I avoided church. I'm now going to church every Sunday, and now Sunday evenings for these 10 weeks that we're in the middle of right now, I'm going to foundations class. And then at the end of that, when I truly know what I need to know about having a real relationship with my Lord and Savior, I'm going to be water baptized. Not the baptism that when I was an infant, when my parents took me to Episcopal church and they poured water on my head when I was not even old enough to know what's going on. I'm going to give my life through baptism. So I say that because why do people not show up in their business? Why do people avoid their business? Just like why was I avoiding church? Well, here's what I came up with after church yesterday. People don't want to show how little they know. They're embarrassed by their lack of results. If you're embarrassed by your results or the lack thereof, you just tend to shy away from it. You don't want to go spend time around something that you're not succeeding in. And I understand why. Your conscious mind your unconscious mind is trying to shield you from feeling bad about yourself. So you tend to shy away from things that you're not succeeding in. You don't want to submit, or people that shy away from their business don't want to submit themselves to being a follower when they're used to being a star. Maybe you're really good at something else, but you're new here and you haven't accomplished much here. And it's easy to stay focused on what you're known to be good at. They're not planted. A tree isn't a tree if it's not planted. It's firewood. So the question is, are they in the business, but is the business in them? So that was just some of my takeaways from church yesterday. And it just caused me to realize, just as I was avoiding my faith, a lot of people avoid their business. So let me share something with you guys. There's a process. There's a process in this business that you have to undertake. It's called conceive, believe, achieve. Write those 3 words down. Conceive, believe, achieve. Conceive means you've got to establish a vision. And it's not just goals, it's a vision for your life. And to accomplish that vision for your life, what will you need to do to have it? Will you need to be a certain level in your business, making a certain amount of money, to have a certain amount of money in your bank account in order to afford to have the vision for your life? I want to live in this home with my family in this town, on this street. I want to be able to go to this church, to be able to put my kids in this school, and I want to be able to give this much to charity. I want to be able to travel to these countries. I want to set up this nonprofit. Whatever you want, the grand vision of your life, what do you need to accomplish it? You have to conceive that, and then you have to believe that. Some people just stepped into this business looking to make a few extra $100 a month in income and make life a little easier. So they don't have a grand vision. They have their life that they've been kind of going through the motions of, and now they're just trying to make a little money to make it a little less hard on themselves, but they don't have a grand vision for their life. People spend more time planning a 2-week vacation than they do planning their life. So I didn't have a problem with that. I mean, I created a vision board, a dream board. I had pictures of everything I wanted in my life, the homes, the cars, the beaches, everything. Picture of a family that I didn't have yet because I was single. Everything I wanted, I had a vision for it. And then I had to find a way to believe it. How did I do that? I found other people that had what I wanted in my network marketing industry. I found some people in the company I was in, and I also looked outside of my company for examples to validate that it is real, it's possible. Are other people in network marketing making millions of dollars? Getting on the other side of money, living with time freedom to do anything they wanted? I saw so many examples that I believed in what I conceived. Conceive, believe, achieve. Because I conceived it and believed it, I went after achieving it. I put in the work. I did the activity, knowing that it would happen, knowing that it was possible to happen. So that's the process, you guys. So once you understand that process and you're willing to take the time, hopefully tonight, to create a North Star vision for yourself, and then you get around the right people, use game to help you believe that with the help of your mentors and with the help of associations and the environment that you're in, that you will achieve it. Once you believe it, now 90% of what you need is done. Now it's a matter of just doing the simple disciplines consistently over an extended period of time with a good attitude. Okay. When I was speaking at Ray Higdon's event, Ray talked about how Jessica wanted to go ballroom dancing, and she wanted them to go as a couple to get lessons. And when they went to class, after several classes, the instructor was having a hard time believing that Ray was ever going to get it down. Like he had 2 left feet. He was really struggling. Like, and the instructor's like, "Hey, can you hear the rhythm? I mean, can you hear it?" And Ray's like, "I think I hear it, but it just wasn't cooperating. His body wasn't doing what it was supposed to do." And Ray's like, "I'm good at so many things. I coach so many people. It's like, why can't I get this? Like, I'm not uncoordinated. I'm not like an absolute. I'm not that bad." And you know what Ray figured out one day when he was at home? Not at the class, not at the studio, at home. He said, "What do I teach people? What do I coach?" He said to himself, "I teach people how to visualize, like mentally rehearse their success. Mentally rehearse making a successful prospecting phone call. Mentally rehearse a presentation ending up with a new recruit. Mentally rehearse your acceptance speech for getting your 6-figure income mark at your next convention," right? Mentally rehearse. And he wasn't doing that in his dancing. So he literally sat there by himself for an hour the night before his next class, mentally rehearsing with his eyes closed, watching himself gracefully sliding, just gliding across the dance floor. And the next day when he went to class with Jessica, he was dancing differently. And people were like noticing, and the instructor said, "What the heck happened? Like, you're not the same guy." He goes, "Yeah, I kind of figured out what I was not doing, my homework. I wasn't mentally rehearsing getting this." And guess what they did? Months later, they went to Miami and won first place in an international dance contest. Guys, you can't make this stuff up. Mental rehearsal is real. So I want you all to mentally rehearse tonight and over again your success, the successful activity, and rehearse getting these successful results. Now, let's talk about the basics of the business. Talk about the basics. First of all, what do? We sell and recruit. That's what we do. We sell product and we recruit people to sell more product. Sell and recruit. So what does that process look like for selling and recruiting? Well, everything starts with the one thing. What is the one thing? The one thing in our business is prospecting. Without prospecting, without finding new people that you can show your product or opportunity to, your business stops in its tracks, is dead. So prospecting is everything. What does that look like? I mean, first of all, it comes down to finding new people. Where do you find people? What do you say to those people to pique their interest and get their door of receptivity open? Well, let's talk about why you're not prospecting consistently. I'll tell you a few reasons why you're not. You have fear. Write these things down so that you understand them, and then you can also teach these things to your team. Fear. You're afraid of looking silly. You're afraid to walk up to somebody, whether it's a stranger or whether it's your friend, and ask them if they'd be open to a business opportunity. Whatever language that you use, you're afraid that they're going to think less of you. They're going to laugh at you. You're going to feel silly or small when that happens. So that fear holds you back. Why else do you not prospect consistently? You don't believe. You don't believe fully in your product. You have doubt about your product, and therefore you have doubt that you should bring it up to people that you want to share it with. Or you don't believe in the opportunity. Like, you just don't believe that there's money to be made in your business, which might mean you need to get to your national convention and go watch all the people on stage that are not paid actors, that are getting recognized for the big income that they're making in their business from all walks of life. So you just don't believe in your product or your opportunity. And I can't fix that for you. I can tell you how to go do it. Go get around people that are getting results with your product, and go get around people who are making money in the business and just hear their stories. Because if you had a bad experience with your product, or somebody else put a bad review online, or you had a bunch of people that quit the business and said they didn't make any money, which they didn't make money because they didn't build a business. Not because the business doesn't work, they didn't work. So you're just listening to the wrong stories. Another reason why you're not prospecting consistently is because you don't believe that you'll get results. You might believe there's great product, great opportunity, but you don't believe you're going to get it done. And you got to work on that belief in yourself. So I would encourage you to just get people on your list. Your job is to add people to your list. That's number one. And then working with your mentors or your workout partners to how to approach people on that list. If you don't have somebody on your list, you can't approach them. If you got a list of the same 50 people that you started with years back when you first got started, here it is all this time later, and you still got the same 50 people you're banging on and just beating them up every which way. Look, you got to be adding new people every day. Here's what I would encourage you to do. If you have not read this book, this ebook that I wrote it years ago. If you have not read it lately, like in the last 30 days, go to briancarruthers.com/ebook. Put in your information, put in your email, and you'll get an email with a free download. It's a 10-pager. You can literally read it while you're cooking or read it while you're soaking in the tub, or heck, I don't care you get what I'm saying. You can read it on the toilet, is what I was trying to avoid saying, but it's a quick read. So that book will teach you that if you can get 2 new contacts a day, and you can teach by your exampleship people on your team to go do that a little bit every day, you can become a millionaire in your business. Because I did it. That's how I did it. That's how I taught it. That's why I wrote a book to teach others how to do it. It's called the 2-a-day phenomenon in network marketing. The 2-a-day phenomenon in network marketing. briancarruthers.com/ebook. Do that tonight. So, you've got to get people on your list. Figure out later how you're going to approach them, but just get them on your list. You might have to reach out to them on Facebook and start conversation there. You might, you'll figure it out. How many times have you heard an idea like prospecting within your passion on Facebook groups, but you didn't take action? Like if you follow me in the last couple of years, I've been teaching this forever, like for years now. Prospect within your passion. Like if you like mountain biking or collecting baseball cards or hunting or fishing or scuba diving or, botany, it doesn't matter. I mean, there are thousands of Facebook groups for any kind of an activity or passion or hobby. So anything that you enjoy doing, go get into like 50 Facebook groups around that. And then allocate time in your calendar every day, whether it's 5 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day or 2 hours a day, whatever, how much allocated time you're putting into this business. Put time into going into those groups and talking about the stuff that you'd like to talk about. I like cards. Like here's a Deion Sanders card, right? Pretty hot topic right now, right? Well, guess what? I can go into card groups and I can talk about cards. And I enjoy it. Like I can be in there for an hour and it feels like 5 minutes. I enjoy talking to other people that are passionate about cards. And while I'm in there, I'm engaging with people. They're getting to know me. They're getting to know me. And then I'll friend request them and say, hey, I enjoyed communicating with you today. I just sent you a friend request. Let's stay in touch. And then I can circle back and say, oh, by the way, what are the grail cards that you really would love to buy right now if you had the money? Oh, I'd love to get this 1987 second year Michael Jordan card, but it's $500 for a raw card, and I don't have that kind of money to put toward the card right now. Oh man, that's a great card, man. I was after that for a while. And then I could say something like, hey, look, I've been buying a lot of the cards I've really wanted, and thankfully I've had the extra cash flow coming in from a side project to allow me to do it. And they might say, oh, really? What do you do? And then I'll say, hey, why don't you should ask? I'll show you what I do, and maybe this can help you get that $500 that you need for your Michael Jordan card. Or if they don't even ask me what I do, when I threw the bait out there, they didn't bite it, I still will circle back and say, hey, by the way, I love buying the cards that are on my heart to buy. I want to help as many collectors as I can, help them to do the same thing. I can certainly show you how I'm making an extra few thousand a month to be able to buy the extra cards without having to tap into my regular ordinary income. You want me to show you how I do it? Do you think I've recruited a few people in the last couple of years with that? I have. You might be in a group about, hiking, and you might talk to people about where their dream hikes, like what mountain, what town, or would they want to go to Italy and hike there? And then you can talk about, well, why have you not gone yet? Well, I can't afford it. Or I can't afford to take time off yet. Then you can show them your opportunity. All right. So again, I asked you all a question, how many times you've heard an idea like that, but you haven't taken action? Stop coming back to the well looking for another new idea. Just so far, just now, just that alone, if you hung up, which don't, because I got a lot of very important, amazing stuff tonight for you, that alone sets you up to go out there and just go crushing your business. You can go find 2 people a day just by going into Facebook groups and talking to people like that. And you can teach your team to do the same thing in their passions, not your passion, in their passions. So if people are enjoying the prospecting activities, they will do more of it. If they dread it, they will shy away from it. Like I was shying away from church. How many times, look, at the end of the day, your goal should be to add 2 people a day to your list, whether it be a physical list, whether it be a friends list on Facebook, whatever. But stop staring at your phone and start talking into it. Stop being on your phone, staring at it, scrolling and being entertained, and watching videos and shorts and reading other people's posts. Stop doing that and start talking into your phone. Have conversations with people. We are network marketers. Network with people. Talk with people. So go network, online or offline, doesn't matter, but just network. Now, I've got a lot of people that are very successful in my business that are networkers, and they do it all different ways, but some of them go out and join BNI networking groups. And every week they go meet with their group. And there's a whole bunch of entrepreneurs in the marketplace that are all trying to help each other get referrals. How would you like to have a couple dozen people in your market trying to get you referrals for your product? How would you like that? Well, go get into groups like that and you go help them get referrals and they'll get you referrals. And by the way, following up is everything. So prospecting, which is basically contacting, inviting people, but you got to follow up. Maybe they haven't seen a present. Your next goal from prospecting is presenting. Now, you might not have gotten them to a presentation yet. Now, I'm going to share with you all an amazing heartwarming story from my wife that just happened yesterday. I saw her. We were on a couch last night. We were supposed to be watching Suits on Netflix. I don't know if you guys watch Suits. I don't want to give you another distraction, but it's a freaking great show. But anyway, we were supposed to be watching the show last night at 10 o'clock at night, and after everything else we're supposed to get done with our lives is done, but she's on her laptop, and I'm like getting a little bit bothered, like, okay, why are you on your laptop? We're supposed to be kind of enjoying the show together. And I'm like, what are you doing over there? She goes, oh, I'm sending Pastor Mike an email. I'm like, oh, okay, what about? And she said it was about Miss Jackie. I'm like, well, read it to me. And she read it to me. I'm like, email that to me. I need to print it out, and I need to share that tomorrow night with all of my Empire Builder friends. Let me share with you what this email said. Good evening, Pastor Mike. Thank you for your message today. He was a pastor yesterday, about being that person. I really enjoyed it. I wanted to share with you a pretty neat story that I felt was a huge win today. I met Miss Jackie in 2019 when our oldest son, Talon, was looking for a family to gift an Xbox to over the holidays. We posted it in a Facebook group, and out of the many responses we received, we decided to gift this to her home for her children. She's a foster parent. She's got a bunch of foster kids. Since then, I built a relationship with Miss Jackie, helping her kids have sponsors for Christmas and back to school, helping with groceries, making her gingerbread houses with the girls, etc. I started coming to community church in October of 2021. I've invited Miss Jackie a few times to join us for Christmas service, Easter service, our 40th church birthday, and even my baptism in November of last year. She tried to come with the kids, but it had not worked out for her to make it. I received a text from her yesterday. Hi, I think I met a pastor from your church, but all of us are going tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. They had a back to school event, and we were invited to it in Leesburg. I responded with joy and told her to text me when she arrived so that I could come say hello. To be honest, I wasn't sure she would make it. I know how many children she has with her, so I assumed something would come up again.